Alright guys, this is Dr. McFarland, and today I'm going to do a review of the Tracii Guns Artist Pack that you can download from the Headrush website. This has a lot of great sounds, and I know he uses these rigs every night on tour with his band LA Guns. So let's check out his approach to building rigs, and that way you can learn a little bit better how you can build your own rig. So the first rig up is the Atomic ED. Not really sure what that stands for, but we do have a phaser, flange, tape echo, and this is a Lead 800 bass mod. And then this is the 25 watt greenback with a 67 condenser mic on the speaker, on axis, nothing else really going on. Then we got a reverb after the cab. So here's the sound of this rig. Alright, so you can hear it's got a little bit of a slapback echo to it. Delay 327. Feedback just barely, just enough to get one repeat. The mix is down pretty low and not a whole lot of wow and flutter going on. We can turn the tails on if we wanted to, but with that much of a repeat, it's not going to make a huge difference. Okay, we can turn the flanger on, see what that sounds like. Okay, let's check out those settings. We got a really slow rate, depth just below 50%, feedback up a little bit above 50%, a little bit of pre-delay, a little bit of stereo imaging there. The sync is turned off, and then as for the one knob phaser here, we got a really slow rate, and that's pretty much it. So let's listen to the phase. Alright, very cool. Now I'm fine with the way this is set up. Let's check out the output. Alright, this is slightly low compared to where I normally have it. I guess I can turn the rig volume up just a tad. That way it's staying within that 3 bars below zero kind of area. And I'll go ahead and save that. Alright, so I am in song list mode. So I can just go down to the next rig. Here's these 60s and 70s live. We got a Marshall Plexi and 2 Marshall Plexis. Pretty much identical for what I'm seeing here. He's boosting the mids and the highs pretty good, just like you would do if you had a physical Marshall amplifier. You know, a lot of those circuits have a very interactive EQ. So when you boost, especially in the mid-range, it gives you more crunch and more drive. So the virtual replacements of these should do pretty much the exact same thing. We got a greenback 20 watt off axis, and then a 25 watt off axis. So let's check this out. Okay, and notice that we don't have a whole lot of bass going on in those amps. We kind of rolled off the bass there. And the concepts I want to get across in my video is the more gain you have in your amp or your pedals, the less bass you need, because it's just going to help filter all that muddiness out, okay? Alright, we do have a tube screamer in here. So that's just going to help push the mids even more and roll off some of that extra low end. Alright, we got a little rotary speaker going on. we can roll the volume pedal back and clean it up a little bit. That's kind of a secret that he uses a lot. He has a non-linear setting on the volume pedal, and it's got the minimum volume down to 50%. So when you roll that all the way back, it's kind of half the volume. So that way he's able to get a nice clean tone, and then just push the toe forward. And there you got your full-on overdrive. Here's a little phase. Just enough for a little bit of movement and some vibe phaser. Alright, this is all good stuff. Here's a little bit of tape echo, core note delay, and here's a tape echo with a half triplet delay. So with those two combined, that delay gives enough length to the sound. So if you play like a wicked solo, it has enough space there to really trail off and not get in the way of the notes. And he really likes his delays and reverbs after the cab, so that's perfectly fine. Tracii, you can totally do that. And here's a clean with effects loop. So I don't have this hooked up to an amplifier right now, so it's going to sound kind of grungy. You can hear what that sounds like though. So you got that kind of bees swarming kind of sound. You could add a cab to this and complete the circuit, but let's go ahead and let's do that. Let's take out this wall pedal because I'm not using it right now. And let's add one of those, let's add the 20 watt greenback. Alright, so we have all the gain and other vibey kind of stuff before the amp, and then tape echo and dynamic delay after the amp, but before the cab. Let's go ahead and put those delays after the cab, because that's what he seems like he likes to do live. I'm going to go ahead and save that, because I'm not going to ever, not ever, but you know, I'm not using a real amp right now, so it sounds kind of clean, and we're using the Saldana 100 watt head. We do some octaves. Yeah, that's cool. We've got the orange phaser. Little bit of movement. Here's some vibe. A lot more movement. And here it is without the chorus. Alright, now we also have a little bit of JRC. Let's see where he has it set. He's got full drive and full volume with a little bit of high tone. So, rock on, Tracii. Alright, that sounds great. And here's a little bit of tri-fuzz. Alright, cool. And if you really want, you can have both of those together. Alright, that sounds good. And let's move on. We're going to hit down rig and go to the next rig. Alright, so here's Tracii Guns #1. And I want to assume this is his #1 rig he likes to use. Okay, let's check out the input. It's got a default threshold there. Let's turn that down. And let's check the output. Alright, so he's got pretty decent levels here. Once again, we got a few different tape echoes at the end. Alright, so there's a little bit of slap back. There's a longer one with a low mix. And then here's some dynamic delay with the higher mix. Turn that off. Alright, cool. Let's turn them all on here. pretty cool. And once again, we got all the usual suspects, octaves, phasers. And we got the JRC. It's for some added bite. And we're using, once again, the Lead 800 bass mod with the 25 watts and a 67 condenser. Alright, very cool. Let's keep going. We got a live 50 Plexi. This is the 20 watt greenback with a dynamic 409. And you can come in here, you can adjust things if you need to. I like the 57 myself. The 409 sounds good too. Octave, phase, rotary, phase, JRC. 2 different delays. Notice we don't have a lot of reverb on here. Primarily when you're playing in a big stage or arena or even just venue, sometimes a reverb in your rig can kind of get in the way of the clarity of the sound. So, but a little bit of delay goes a long way. I'm locking that one. Let's check the output. Alright, right where we want to be there. And we got the 100 watt Plexi. So plexiglass 100. We got the high volume all the way up. The normal volume is down. And notice again we got the mids boosted on the amp. So boosting those mids give you more gain overall. Volume pedal, control our gain to the front end of the amp. Alright, cool. And live 800, we got the Lead 800 100 watt with a classic 30 amplifier. He does like the more the condenser kind of stuff versus the dynamic. Alright, this amplifier actually has the preamp and a master volume. So he's got his preamp boosted pretty high. I kind of go both ways. It depends on if I want more power amp soak versus preamp sizzle. Sometimes I'll crank the master volume and then turn down the preamp a little bit and then just boost it with like a JRC or something. So it just really depends on the kind of sound you're going for. Alright, that sounds great. Little octave. Yep. Alright, here's a bassman sound. We got pretty much a crank, treble, and mids. The bass is all the way off. So keep that in mind, folks, when you're dealing with high gain amps or just an amp that's cranked. It's okay to turn the bass all the way down or just kind of roll it off to kind of tame that low end thump. The cab is the tweed bass with the 414 from AKG, off axis. I'm okay with all that. Here's a little white boost. Alright, cool. Let's go on to the Vibrolux. Interesting sound. We got a little DC distort in there. This is the amp with just clean. Alright, cool. I like it. Here's a Fender Twin with some overdrive and white boost. And a little bit of 5-phaser. Alright, here's the amp by itself. And we're actually using the AC Blue with the Alnico Blue speakers and a Norman 87. Check the output. Probably stand to go a little higher on that rig volume. It's very dynamic, which is good. I probably add in like maybe a compressor in there. Tracii live. Cool. Once again, we got the delays after the speaker cab. Got a little rotary. Turn the volume down. Got that rocking the 45%, linear off. You can always go in here and change the minimum volume. And it's going to depend on what kind of pickups you have in your guitar. He's got pretty low PAF pickups in his Les Pauls, so it's really not going to push the amp that much. So that way, that's how he's able to back off the volume pedal and get a nice clean sound, and all that fun stuff. So let's keep going. Main effects loop. All right, so this has to be in the effects loop of a real amplifier. I'm not going to mess with that one, but it's got all the same kind of stuff. We're actually using the Soldano extended range in that amp. And then effects pedals number 1. Plexiglass. And once again, no cab in here, so that's mainly just for using these rigs in a real amp. I'd probably take a line out, a 1/4 inch output, and go into the effects return of a real amplifier, and that'll complete that circuit right there, and it should sound pretty good. That's what I would do. And then, not sure what that means. Okay, we're back to the beginning. So a few things to consider here is, look at a rig that somebody else has made and analyze it just a little bit and figure out, okay, I see that he's boosting the mids and the highs but rolling off the bass. That's a good thing to do when dealing with high gain amps. And you can come in here and you mix with mic types and whatnot. But I think this is a good here. But you notice that Tracii uses all stock cabs. So if it's good enough for him, should be good enough for you. So I am Dr. McFarland. I will see you in the next video. Keep rocking. Hey guys, thanks for checking out my videos and my YouTube channel. If you want to see a lot more cool content, be sure to head over to drmcfarlandstudios.com.